Hello everyone. Today let's solve the Leetcode problem number 15, 3 sum, right? So what the question says, given an array nums, return all the triplets nums of I, nums of j and nums of k such that I not equal to j, I not equal to k as well as j not equal to k, and nums of I plus nums of j plus nums of k is equal to 0. Basically this one, nums of I and nums of j and nums of k has to be 0, right? So this is the main thing. And also let's come to the example. Let's consider this example basically. So here they have given an array -1, 0, 1, 2, -1 and -4. So the output will be -1, -1 and 0. We have to display the triplets, right? That's what they have asked in the question. -1, -1 and 2, nothing but -2 plus 2 equals 0. So this is one triplet we are getting, which basically will give 0. And also -1 plus 1 is 0 and 0 plus 0 is nothing but 0. We are getting 0 for both this one. We are displaying this one in the output, right? So let's see how can we do that. So let's consider this example, this one, right? So initially what we'll do, we have got this one, right? -1, 0, the array of numbers. So initially we are able to sort this one. When I sort this one, we'll be getting -4, -1, -1, 0, 1 and 2, right? So this is what we get while we sort this one basically. Next, what we'll do, after sorting, let's initialize the empty object so that we get the this one. We get the solution in the key value pair, right? So then next iterate through the, let's iterate through the each element in the array, nothing but starting from the 4, right? So this one. For the first iteration, what we'll do, let's initialize the left and right pointers, right? So initially what I'll do, I'll consider these three things. One is, let's initialize start to index, the first index, this one, 0th index, nothing but start to 4, and start to the first index, nothing but 0th index is -4, and let's initialize this one, what do you call, left and, let's consider two pointers, left and right. Let's initialize left to start plus 1, nothing but this one. Start is a 0th index and plus 1 will become this one, and the value will be -1, and the right pointer to the last one, length -1, nothing but the last index, nothing but here start, we are initializing the start to 0th index, nothing but -4, and this one left to start plus 1, nothing but 0 plus 1 is first index, the value will be -1, and right to the last element, nothing but 2 here in our case, right? So we have sorted the array. After sorting the array, we have initialized the start to this one, 0th index, and left to start plus 1, this index, and the right to the last index, nothing but length -1. So basically after this, what we'll do, we have the formula sum equals nums of start plus nums of left plus nums of right. So we'll make use of the while loop and we'll start the iteration. So first what it will be, sum equals nums of start. Nums of start is nothing but -4 initially. Next -4 and nums of left is -1. -4, -1. So I'll just do this, -4, -1, and basically nums of right. Nums of right is nothing but 2 in our case. So this one plus of -1 plus 2, right? So what is the value we are getting? 4 plus -1 is nothing but -5 plus 2 equals -3. So we have to know one thing. If we get the value less than 0, then we'll be incrementing the left pointer, and if we get the value greater than 0, we'll be decrementing the right pointer. So if it is equal to 0, then we'll be displaying that one, right? The output we need that, we'll be displaying that one in the output, basically. That's what we are doing. So first one will be -3. It is less than 0, so we are incrementing the left pointer. Now this one will be -1, right? Left will be -1. So -4, again same thing, just give me a second. -4 plus of -1 and this one, again it will be -3. So it is again less than 0, then we'll move the left pointer, it will come to 0. -4 plus 0 plus 2, it will be -2, right? Then we'll move the, so it is -2 and it is less than 0, so let's move the left pointer. So then it will be -4 plus 1 and plus 2, nothing but -1 will get. So -1 is still less than 0 and we move to the left pointer. So we consider whether in the while loop, whether when the left is less than right. So now the left is not less than right, so we'll stop here, we'll exit from the loop. So that was the first iteration that I explained, right? So in the first iteration, if you remember, we had initialized start to 0th index and left to this one, start plus 1, and right to the last index, right? In this one, in the second iteration, what we'll do, the same thing, while we'll check for while left is less than right, then we are initializing the start to first index, yeah, not the 0th index this time. This will be -1, start basically. And left to start plus 1, nothing but this index. The value will be -1. This is left pointer and the right pointer will be same. It will initialize this one to the last index, nothing but length -1, right? So this will be right pointer. This will be start, this will be left, and this will be basically right. Now the sum, the formula of the sum, as I have said, nums of start plus nums of left plus nums of right. Nothing but in our case, start is -1 plus of this one, nums of left, nothing but -1, right? -1 and nums of right, nothing but 2. Here in our case, -1 plus 2, right? So this becomes give me a second, -2 plus 2, this becomes 0. So let's store this one. When the output is equal to 0, we are storing this one, right? So -1 and plus 2. So just give me a second. -1, sorry. So last iteration we saw, we got -1 and 2, right? So when it is equal to 0, what we'll do? We will increment the left pointer and we will decrement the right pointer. Now the value of the left pointer will be this one, -1, and the right pointer we have decremented by 1, nothing but this one, and start index will remain the same, -1, right? Left pointer is not this one, we have incremented this one, right? It will be 0 basically, not this one, sorry. Now let's carry on with the formula, nothing but sum equals nums of start plus nums of left plus nums of right, right? So the start will be -1, again this will be nums of left will be 0 and nums of right will be +1, this one, right? +1, and -1 plus 1, 0, 0 plus 0 is nothing but 0. Again we got this one. We are the solution, the product we got is 0, so we are saving this one as well, -1, 0 and +1. So I'll just save here -1, 0 and +1. We are storing this one in the object, right? I'll just delete this one. So we can carry, so we have got the answer -1, and 2, -1, 0 and 1. That's what they have given here. In the next iteration, what we'll do, we will move the start to this index. Basically, the start will be -1 and the left pointer will be this one, and the right pointer will be, this one itself. So 2. We'll perform the same operations. So we'll not be getting 0. I have done this one. So you can do the iteration, but you'll not get 0. And once you'll get the 0, but we the same thing, this one. But we have already got the numbers -1, 0 and 1. Nothing but the output. So here, what is the output that we have got? Nothing but -1, -1, 2, -1, 0 and 1. That's what they have given here. So this is it. Next, let's start writing the code. First, let's initialize an empty object to store the unique triplets, right? So I'll just give let obj equals empty object. What we are doing here, we are initializing an empty object to store the unique triplets. Next, let's sort the array to facilitate the 2-point approach. Nothing but easy. I'll just give nums equals nums dot sort of a comma b a minus. After this one, we are looping through each element in the sorted array. How can we do that? I'll just make use of for loop. I'll just give, initially I said we'll keep the start to 0, right? That's what I said. Start less than length of the nums. And sorry, this has to be, let's increment the start. After this one, what was the first step? In the first iteration, we have set the right to the last number and left to the start plus 1, if you remember. So I'll just give right equals, last number is nothing but nums dot length, last index, sorry, nothing but nums dot length -1. Left, I said, will be giving start plus 1. So this is one thing. Next, as I had mentioned, we'll be making use of the while loop, and we'll continue while the left pointer is less than the right pointer. So I'll just give while left less than right. So what formula we had made use of to check whether it is 0? Nums of left plus nums of nums of start plus nums of left plus nums of right equals 0. We were checking for. For that one, I'll make use of if nums of left less, sorry, this has to be nums of start, not left. Nums of start, nums of left plus nums of right. While explaining, I said nums of start initially will be 0. Start we have initialized to 0. Nums of left will be start plus 1. Nothing but initially, after sorting, we'll be getting -4, -1, -1. The next one, right? The next index. The right will be initializing this one to the last index. Nothing but nums dot length -1. If this is, let's continue. This, if it is equal to 0, then what we'll do? If they sum to 0, then we will add the triplet to the object, as I have said. If these two things, we saw how we got these two things, right? These two things are summing to basically 0. -1 and -1 is nothing but -2, -2 plus 2, 0. -1 plus 1, 0. 0 plus 0 is nothing but 0. Here, these two things, when they sum to 0, then we are adding the triplet to the object. So how here, I'll just come. Let me give object nums start, comma, nums of left. What will be storing? Nums of start, nums of left, and nums of right, right? So I'll just keep the same thing. Nums of left, comma, nums of right. This one equal to same thing. Nums of start, nums of left, and finally nums of right. Just give me a second. Yeah. After doing this, what we have to do, basically, when we find this one, right? When we find the triplets that is giving us 0, then after getting 0, we have to move the left pointer to right and the right pointer to left. Nothing but we are incrementing the left pointer and we are decrementing the right pointer by 1, right? So for that one, I'll just write left and right, decrement the right. Else, if we get the if you get the product of the triplet that is greater than 0. I have showed you in that example. By taking the first example, I have showed you. If the product of this one, the triplet, is greater than 0, then we are decrementing that one to the right. We didn't get greater than 0. We got less than 0. In case if we get less than 0, then we are incrementing the left. In case if we are getting the triplet sum which is greater than 0, then we are decrementing the right. So else if I'll just write nums of start plus nums of left plus nums of right. If it is greater than 0, then what we are doing, we are decrementing the right. Again, else if I'll copy the same thing. Let me copy this one. So in my case, we have already checked whether the triplets gives the sum lesser than greater than 0, then we are decrementing by decrementing the right pointer. If we get if we get greater than 0, then we are decrementing the right pointer. If we get the sum of the triplet that is less than 0, then we are decrementing the left pointer. Incrementing the left pointer. Sorry, I'll just give left. So after this one, we have to get the values, right? The value that we have stored in the object obj, this one. So what are the values that we got? Basically -1, -1, 2 and -1, 0, 1. We have to get this value. For that one, what we have to do, I'll just return. We know that the this one object consists of the key and value pair. We are getting all the values from the object. How can we get that? So I'll just make use of object dot values of obj. So this one, I'll just format the document once. Let me hit the submit. Let's wait for some time. So yeah, this is correct, right? So what will be the time complexity and the space complexity? So the main for loop runs n times basically here, right? So you can see here the main for loop runs for n times. For each iteration, the while loop runs. The while loop also runs for big of n time. This one I showed you how the while loop runs, right? So for each iteration, the while loop also runs for big of n time. Hence, the overall time complexity would be big of n to the power of 2. Nothing but big of n square. You can also observe we have made use of the this one sorting. The time complexity of the sort will be big of n log n, but the big of n square dominates here. So the time complexity would be big O of n square. I'll just give big O of n to the power of 2, right? Or n square. So what is the space complexity? The space complexity is primarily determined by the space needed to store the triplets in the object. This one. Basically the space needed to store the unique triplets in the object obj. This one, right? So in the worst case, we could have big O of n triplets. Basically the time complexity of the space complexity would be big O of n. This one, right? So yeah, this is it. We considered this example, basically this example. Same goes with the second and third example. They have just said 0, 1, 1. We are not getting any this thing solution. So we are just displaying the braces, empty brace, right? Here also we have got 0, 0 and 0. We'll be displaying the same thing goes with the third example as well. So this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.